The courtroom was silent, heavy with anticipation. Every camera in America was pointed toward the polished oak bench where the trial of the year was unfolding. Headlines had screamed it for weeks. Accuse Senator John Kennedy. For millions, this wasn't just about politics, it was about pride, power, and the credibility of two of the most talked about figures in Washington. But no one could have predicted that everything would come crashing down in just 9 seconds. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez walked into that courtroom with the kind of confidence that turned heads. Her legal team was stacked, her supporters were energized, and she carried herself as though victory was already written. She believed she had Kennedy cornered. The lawsuit, based on allegations of defamation and professional sabotage, wasn't just about legal damage it was about legacy. Ac was fighting for her name, her influence, and her place in history. On the other side sat John Kennedy, calm, almost too calm. He had been underestimated before. To many, he seemed like the underdog, a Southern senator with a knack for humor and a sharp tongue that cut deeper than most realized. He didn't have the army of lawyers Ac had, but what he had was something stronger. The truth and a witness no one expected. As opening arguments began, Ac's team came out swinging. They painted Kennedy as reckless, dismissive, and dangerous to her reputation. The jury listened, stone-faced, but the pressure in the room was undeniable. Then Kennedy's turn came. He didn't speak long. He didn't need to. With that trademark mix of plain talk and razor wit, he simply said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear a lot of words today, but I want you to listen for the truth. It's simple, and it'll come out faster than you think." And then he called his first witness. The doors opened, and in walked a man few had ever seen before, a whistleblower. Formerly part of Ac's inner circle, he had once been a trusted aide, someone who had drafted speeches, reviewed strategies, and sat in the room when decisions were made. His face was serious, but his eyes carried the weight of someone who had been holding back far too long. Ac stiffened. Her attorneys whispered urgently. No one had expected him. The man took the stand. His voice was steady, but the silence in the courtroom made every word echo like a cannon blast. In just 9 seconds, he shattered everything. She knew the statements were false, and she approved them anyway. Gasps filled the room. The jury leaned forward. Reporters scrambled for their phones. 9 seconds. That's all it took. The rest of his testimony only deepened the cracks. He produced emails, memos, and recordings of evidence showing that much of Ac's lawsuit was built on a foundation she knew was fragile, even fabricated. What was framed as Kennedy's reckless slander turned out to be his sharp observation of her own missteps, and the witness's words painted a picture of ambition that had crossed the line into manipulation. Ac tried to recover. She stood, objected, challenged the witness with fiery questions, but the damage was done. Her voice, usually commanding and passionate, shook with desperation. The jury could see it. The public could feel it. For the first time, she wasn't the one in control. Kennedy remained quiet through most of it, only occasionally exchanging glances with his legal counsel. He knew the moment had shifted. He didn't need to gloat. The witness had said everything that needed to be said. When the trial ended that day, the courthouse steps were flooded with reporters. Ac left quickly, head down, her entourage shielding her from the blinding cameras. Kennedy, however, stopped. He spoke only one line, one that would replay on news channels for weeks. Truth doesn't need a lot of time, it just needs a chance to be heard. Those words resonated across the country. To Kennedy's supporters, it was vindication. To Ac, it was a reckoning. The trial wasn't just a legal battle, it was a turning point. A reminder that no matter how powerful, no matter how polished, legacies can unravel in seconds if they're built on sand. The story spread like wildfire. Millions debated it online. Families discussed it at dinner tables. Classrooms dissected it as a modern lesson in character and consequence. Some mourned what Ac had lost, others celebrated Kennedy's resilience. But beyond politics, beyond partisanship, the trial carried a deeper message. Truth, even when quiet, even when delayed, always finds its way to the light. And that witness, once invisible, had become the unexpected voice that reminded the nation. Credibility isn't earned by popularity, it's proven by integrity. By the time the dust settled, The legacy that had seemed unshakable was forever changed, and all it took was 9 seconds of truth.